Have you ever looked at your child and wondered, why does this child think like this? Why does she light up when a subject has meaning, beauty, people, debate, emotion, or purpose, but lose interest when the same subject becomes dry, repetitive, or mechanical? What if your child is not confused? What if your child is not lazy? What if your child is not inconsistent? What if you are simply looking at the wrong intelligence map? Today, I want to take you into an actual case study. I will use an imaginary name to protect identity. Let us call her Anaya. Anaya has Sagittarius rising. Her Sun and Mercury are in Aries in the 5th house. Her Moon is in Libra in the 11th house. Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, and Rahu are placed in Leo in the 9th house. Venus is her Atmakaraka in Taurus in the 6th house. Saturn is her Amatyakaraka in Leo in the 9th house. Ketu is in Aquarius in the 3rd house. Now listen carefully. This is not casual astrology. This is intelligence mapping. In this system, planetary placement becomes the diagnostic engine. A generic career test may ask, do you like science, art, people, or numbers? But this method asks something far deeper. Why does your child like what she likes? Why does her mind open in one environment and shut down in another? Why does one subject feel alive and another feel like punishment? Why does she need meaning before motivation? Why does she learn through beauty, debate, correction, service, performance, leadership, or systems? That is where astrological intelligence mapping becomes direct. Because planets do not merely show personality traits, they show intelligence pathways. They show how the child receives information, processes information, expresses information, and finds joy through information. Let us begin with Anaya's Sagittarius ascendant. Sagittarius rising tells me immediately that this child is not built for a narrow life. Her personality is shaped by truth, wisdom, higher learning, ethics, philosophy, exploration, meaning, and guidance. You cannot motivate this child only with marks. You cannot inspire her only by saying, study because everyone studies. She will ask, openly or silently, why does this matter? That question is not rebellion. That question is intelligence. Sagittarius rising children need the big picture. They need purpose, they need vision, they need mentors they can respect. They need education that connects to life. If a subject is taught as dead information, they may resist it. But if the same subject becomes a doorway into humanity, culture, law, psychology, philosophy, nature, society, or the future, the mind wakes up. Now look at her 5th house. The 5th house is the house of creative intelligence, education, memory, talent, judgment, self-expression, and the way the mind enjoys learning. In Anaya's case, Sun and Mercury are both in Aries in the 5th house. Sun gives identity, confidence, leadership, moral fire, and self-expression. Mercury gives intellect, speech, language, analysis, learning, writing, humor, and communication. Aries adds speed, courage, directness, initiative, and competitiveness. So what kind of intelligence does this create? It creates creative linguistic intelligence. This is the child who learns by speaking, questioning, presenting, debating, performing, teaching, and expressing. She may not enjoy simply sitting silently and absorbing information. She wants to interact with the idea. She wants to challenge it. She wants to say it in her own words. She wants to test it. Because Aries is involved, her mind may be fast. Her speech may be direct. Her ideas may come quickly. She may get impatient with slow teaching, vague instruction, or unnecessary repetition. You may call this impatience. But as an intelligence mapping coach, I call this a diagnostic clue. Her Mercury is not passive. Her Mercury is action-oriented. She does not only think. She wants to act on thought. She does not only understand. She wants to express understanding. This is why such a child must be given debate, storytelling, essay writing, drama, public speaking, podcasting, student leadership, creative projects, and teaching opportunities. Do not bury this child under silent worksheets alone. Give her a stage, not necessarily a public stage. A family discussion can be a stage. A classroom presentation can be a stage. A notebook where she writes her own reflections can be a stage. When Sun and Mercury sit in the 5th house, the child's intelligence grows when she is allowed to shine through ideas. Now her Moon is in Libra in the 11th house. The Moon shows the emotional mind. It shows how the child feels, absorbs, reacts, remembers, bonds, and emotionally processes life. Libra is the sign of balance, relationships, fairness, beauty, diplomacy, aesthetics, and social harmony. The 11th house is the house of friends, networks, communities, groups, long-term desires, gains, recognition, and social belonging. So Anaya does not learn in isolation only. Her emotional mind is connected to groups. She notices friend dynamics. She notices fairness. She notices who is included and who is excluded. She may be emotionally affected by peer groups, social approval, or the quality of her friendships. This placement gives interpersonal intelligence. She can understand people. She can sense group moods. She can connect ideas to social contexts. She may enjoy collaborative learning, team projects, youth communities, clubs, group discussions, and socially meaningful causes. But there is a caution. Moon in Libra in the 11th can make a child oversensitive to peer approval. If friends reject her, ignore her, compare her, or exclude her, her motivation can drop. Not because she is weak, but because her emotional intelligence is relational. She feels the room, she feels the group, she feels the social tone. So if you want to support such a child, watch her friendships, watch her peer environment, watch whether her classroom gives emotional safety. Because for this moon, belonging affects learning. Now we come to one of the strongest signatures in the chart. Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, and Rahu are all in Leo in the 9th house. This is huge. The 9th house is the house of higher education, wisdom, philosophy, dharma, ethics, teachers, mentors, long-distance travel, institutions, publishing, higher studies, professional training, and worldview. Leo is the sign of leadership, self-expression, authority, dignity, creativity, recognition, and moral presence. So what happens when 4 major forces gather here? The child becomes intellectually large. She is not meant to think small. Mars in Leo gives courage, action, ambition, and leadership drive in matters of knowledge. She may defend her views strongly. She may want to fight for what she believes is right. Jupiter in Leo in the 9th gives wisdom, teaching ability, moral vision, philosophy, and hunger for meaning. This is a seeker-teacher placement. It asks, what is the principle? What is the truth? What is the larger purpose? Saturn in Leo in the 9th gives discipline, structure, seriousness, responsibility, and long-term mastery in education. But Saturn also brings pressure. This means Anaya may not always feel light about learning. She may feel she has to prove herself. She may carry a hidden seriousness around achievement, respect, and authority. Rahu in Leo in the 9th intensifies the entire field. Rahu creates hunger for knowledge, recognition, uniqueness, reform, and visibility. It can also make the child question teachers, systems, rules, ideologies, and institutions. Together, this gives existential intelligence at a very high level. This child is not satisfied with what. She wants why. Why does society work like this? Why do people believe in religion? Why do laws exist? Why do teachers hold authority? Why is one culture different from another? Why do people suffer? Why do relationships fail? Why does life have purpose? These are 9th house questions. This is not ordinary curiosity. This is dharmic curiosity. And when Jupiter, Saturn, Mars, and Rahu influence the 9th house, the child needs education that feels expansive, serious, challenging, and meaningful. She may enjoy philosophy, psychology, law, ethics, public policy, education, international relations, cultural studies, mythology, religion, history, sociology, and leadership studies. But here is the parenting insight. A 9th house Leo cluster needs good mentors. Not dominating mentors, not weak mentors, not teachers who demand blind obedience. She needs teachers who hold authority through wisdom. If a teacher is unfair, shallow, or hypocritical, this child may lose respect quickly. That is not arrogance alone. It is because her intelligence is wired to evaluate moral authority. Now let us look at Venus. Venus is her Atmakaraka. In intelligence mapping, the Atmakaraka is extremely important because it shows the soul's central desire. It shows what the child is deeply trying to experience, refine, and understand. Anaya's Venus is in Taurus in the 6th house. Venus represents beauty, harmony, love, refinement, relationships, aesthetics, value, comfort, art, taste, and attraction. Taurus strengthens these themes because Taurus cares about stability, food, voice, value, beauty, resources, comfort, and the material experience of life. The 6th house is service, correction, problem solving, health, routine, conflict resolution, daily work, improvement, discipline, and usefulness. So what does Venus Atmakaraka in Taurus in the 6th house say? It says the soul wants to refine life. This child's soul does not only want luxury, it wants useful beauty. It wants to improve something. It wants to make things better, cleaner, calmer, more harmonious, more comfortable, more beautiful, more balanced, and more functional. This gives visual spatial intelligence, aesthetic intelligence, and service-based intrapersonal intelligence. Anaya may notice what looks wrong in a room. She may notice imbalance in colors, clothes, presentation, food, comfort, relationships, or routines. She may be sensitive to environments that feel ugly, chaotic, harsh, or emotionally uncomfortable. She may enjoy design, fashion, interiors, beauty, wellness, food, nutrition, art, branding, visual communication, relationship work, counseling, therapy, or healing environments. But because Venus is in the 6th house, there is also a correction instinct. She may not only say, "This is beautiful," she may say, "This can be improved." A Venus 6th house child may become self-critical. She may compare. She may want things to be just right. She may try to fix herself, fix relationships, fix routines, fix people, fix aesthetics, or fix systems. If guided well, this becomes excellence. If pressured harshly, it becomes anxiety. So do not only criticize this child, teach her refinement without shame. Say, "Let us improve this," not "You are wrong." That one shift can protect her confidence. Now Saturn is her Amatya Karaka. The Amatya Karaka shows career direction, skill application, and professional intelligence. Saturn as Amatya Karaka means the career cannot be built on fantasy. It must be built through discipline, structure, responsibility, patience, and long-term work. Saturn in Leo in the 9th house says her professional life may eventually connect with education, institutions, leadership, law, policy, higher learning, research, training, structured guidance, administration, social responsibility, or ethical systems. This is not a chart of casual entertainment alone. Even if she enters media, design, counseling, or education, she will eventually need seriousness and credibility. Saturn Amatya Karaka says, "Earn your authority." Leo says, "Become visible." The 9th house says, "Through knowledge, wisdom, ethics, and higher learning." So her career path may mature slowly, but it can become very strong. She may become a counselor, teacher, educational psychologist, policy thinker, curriculum designer, lawyer, academic coach, communication strategist, youth mentor, social impact leader, or design thinking professional. Now let us not ignore Ketu. Ketu is in Aquarius in the 3rd house. The 3rd house is skills, communication, writing, courage, hobbies, hands, effort, self-expression, media, and practical talent. Aquarius is systems, technology, innovation, networks, reform, social structures, data, future thinking, and unconventional ideas. Ketu gives detachment, abstraction, intuition, silent pattern recognition, and past life skill memory. So Ketu in Aquarius in the 3rd gives an unusual intelligence. This child may have silent systems intelligence. She may understand digital tools, networks, social patterns, or abstract ideas without always explaining how. She may be drawn to technology, social media systems, writing, analytics, astrology, psychology, coding, design systems, research, or unconventional communication. Ketu also makes expression selective. She may not speak everything she knows. She may hold back. She may communicate in bursts. She may prefer independent skill development. This placement supports logical pattern intelligence, digital intelligence, and abstract communication intelligence. Now let us put all this together. Anaya's first dominant intelligence is existential intelligence. This comes from Sagittarius rising and the powerful 9th house cluster. She needs meaning, truth, ethics, purpose, philosophy, and big picture learning. Her second dominant intelligence is linguistic intelligence. This comes from Sun and Mercury in Aries in the 5th house, supported by Jupiter in the 9th and Ketu in the 3rd. She can speak, write, argue, explain, teach, present, and express ideas powerfully. Her third dominant intelligence is interpersonal intelligence. Moon in Libra in the 11th gives group sensitivity, social awareness, fairness, diplomacy, and emotional understanding of networks. Her fourth dominant intelligence is visual spatial and aesthetic intelligence. Venus at Makaraka in Taurus gives beauty, value, design, taste, and harmony. Moon in Libra adds balance. Leo adds presentation. Mercury in the 5th adds creative expression. Her fifth intelligence is intrapersonal intelligence. Venus at Makaraka in the 6th makes her reflect through improvement. Jupiter in the 9th gives moral awareness. Saturn gives seriousness. She can understand herself deeply through journaling, counseling, reflection, art, and meaningful dialogue. Her sixth intelligence is logical systems intelligence. This is not dry mathematics alone. It comes through Mars, Saturn, Ketu, Aquarius, and the third ninth house connection. She may enjoy logic when it is connected to systems, people, technology, design, research, ethics, or strategy. Now, do you see why this system is more direct? Because we are not guessing from surface behavior. We are diagnosing from planetary placement. The ascendant shows the personality gateway. The fifth house shows creative intelligence. The sixth house shows correction and service intelligence. The ninth house shows higher learning and worldview. The 11th house shows group intelligence. The third house shows skill expression. The Atmakaraka shows soul desire. The Amatyakaraka shows professional direction. The planets show the type of intelligence. The signs show the style of expression. The houses show the field where that intelligence acts. This is why a proper intelligence map is superior to casual advice. Because it does not say, your child is good at arts, and stop there. It says your child may be good at visual communication because Venus is strong, placed in Taurus, operating through the sixth house of correction, supported by Libra moon, and creative fifth house Mercury. Therefore, design is not just beauty for her, it is problem solving through beauty. That is direct. It does not say your child can speak well, and stop there. It says Sun, Mercury, and Aries in the fifth gives expressive, bold, creative, performance-based linguistic intelligence. She must be allowed to explain, debate, present, and teach. That is direct. It does not say your child is philosophical and stop there. It says Sagittarius rising in a Leo ninth house cluster with Jupiter, Saturn, Mars, and Rahu create existential intelligence, moral questioning, higher learning hunger, and leadership through knowledge. That is direct. Now, what fields of study would suit Anaya? The first strong field is psychology and counseling. Why? Because Venus Atmakaraka in the sixth wants to improve lives. Moon in Libra understands relationships. Mercury in the fifth can communicate with children and youth. Jupiter in the ninth gives guidance. Saturn gives seriousness. This can create a powerful counselor, educational psychologist, child development specialist, relationship coach, or youth mentor. The second field is education and learning design. This chart has a powerful fifth and ninth house. That is the student-teacher axis. She can learn, synthesize, explain, and eventually guide. She may enjoy curriculum design, creative teaching, educational content, edtech, youth coaching, alternative education, and student mentoring. The third field is law, ethics, policy, and human rights. The ninth house cluster gives law, principles, justice, philosophy, and institutions. Moon in Libra adds fairness. Saturn Amatya Karaka adds structure. Mars adds courage. Rahu adds reform. This can become a strong path if she is drawn to social justice, governance, children's rights, education policy, women's rights, or public systems. The fourth field is communication, media, public speaking, journalism, and content strategy. Sun, Mercury, and Aries in the fifth cannot remain silent forever. This placement wants expression. With Moon in the 11th, she can understand audiences. With Ketu and Aquarius in the third, she can use digital and unconventional channels. Podcasting, writing, youth communication, documentary storytelling, educational media, and social platforms can all suit her. The fifth field is design, branding, UX, and visual communication. Venus in Taurus gives aesthetic power. Moon in Libra gives balance. Mercury in the fifth gives creative intelligence. The sixth house gives usability. This is excellent for UX design, branding, visual education, presentation design, wellness branding, child-centered design, fashion communication, or digital product design. The sixth field is sociology, anthropology, culture, philosophy, and international relations. Sagittarius and the ninth house want the world. They want cultures, beliefs, institutions, and meaning. Anaya may enjoy studying how people live, believe, organize, love, suffer, and create identity. The seventh field is wellness, beauty, nutrition, Ayurveda, and healing lifestyle fields. Venus in Taurus in the sixth can enjoy food, body care, health routines, beauty, natural wellness, and refinement of daily living. This could become nutrition communication, wellness coaching, beauty wellness branding, Ayurveda education, or therapeutic lifestyle design. But here's the important point. Do not force the field before understanding the joy pattern. For Anaya, joy comes when four things meet, meaning beauty, expression, service. If a subject gives her meaning but no expression, she may feel trapped. If a subject gives her beauty but no purpose, she may feel shallow. If a subject gives her service but no creativity, she may feel burdened. If a subject gives her expression but no ethics, she may feel empty. Her best path must combine these. She will feel most alive when she can say, I understood something meaningful. I expressed it beautifully. I helped someone through it. I improved something real. I became more useful to the world. That is the signature. Now, for parents listening to this, I want you to take this seriously. Your child may not be weak because she does not fit a standard academic box. Your child may be carrying a different intelligence architecture. Some children are numerical, some are linguistic, some are existential, some are interpersonal, some are visual, some are bodily, some are musical, some are naturalist, some are intrapersonal, and some, like Anaya, are a rare blend of meaning, expression, aesthetics, service, and leadership. If you guide this child only through comparison, you may damage confidence. If you guide her through the correct map, you can unlock direction. Do not ask only, what career has money? Ask, where does this child's intelligence naturally become useful? Do not ask only, what subject is popular? Ask, which subject activates her planetary intelligence? Do not ask only, what should she become? Ask, where will she feel connected with the world? Because a career is not just income. A career is where intelligence becomes contribution. And when intelligence becomes contribution, the child does not merely succeed. The child becomes alive. So if your child is confused, do not panic. If your teenager is restless, do not label them. If your Gen Z child questions everything, do not shut them down immediately. Questioning may be the doorway to intelligence. Resistance may be a clue. Boredom may be a diagnostic signal. Overthinking may be misdirected depth. Sensitivity may be relational intelligence. Aesthetic preference may be visual intelligence. Debate may be linguistic intelligence. Rebellion may be untrained existential intelligence. The right map changes everything. This is why I use planetary placement as the diagnostic engine. Because the birth chart shows not only what the child may become, but how the child processes life. It shows the intelligence style, emotional hunger, learning pathway, joy pattern, pressure points, and fields where the child can build a meaningful relationship with the world. And when you understand that, you stop forcing, you start guiding, you stop comparing, you start decoding. You stop asking, why is my child like this? And you begin asking, how do I support the intelligence already present? That is the shift. That is the power of deep intelligence mapping. If you want a deep intelligence map reading for your child, your teen, or even for yourself, get in touch with me. Not a generic reading, not a shallow career label, a deep intelligence map that works for you. A reading that studies planetary placements, houses, signs, Caracas, conjunctions, and the real intelligence signature behind the personality. Because your child does not need to be pushed into someone else's path. Your child needs to be understood. And when the right intelligence is understood, the right path begins to reveal itself.